Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Darcy, and I'm a fertility coach.
And hi, I'm Kate Weldon LeBlanc. I'm the executive director of Resolve New England, which is a nonprofit that serves our whole beautiful region. Anyone struggling to build their family, we provide education, support, and advocacy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shervonne Coney, and I am the founder and CEO of Black Women in Infertility Awareness Group. Black Women in Infertility is an awareness group, as I said, and also an advocacy group. And we look to encourage and empower women dealing with fertility struggles.
So I'm excited to be here together because we're talking about infertility etiquette, and we're coming to you with our open heart because as warriors ourselves, we've been in situations that could make you feel uncomfortable, heartbroken, sad. And I'm going to go first and share mine, which was the landmine moment. That's what I'm calling it. So I never thought I would be, I'm a preschool teacher by education, and didn't think I would be writing books and talking about something so personal. And way back when I was within my fertility journey, I had surgeries and IUIs, and we got that news. And unfortunately, it was an ectopic pregnancy. And I lost the pregnancy the day before Thanksgiving. And pretty soon after that, unfortunately, we had a family member pass. And unbeknownst to me, at the wake, one of our family members was pregnant. And another family member came up to me and said, "Oh, congratulations, we heard you were pregnant." And I didn't respond in a very etiquette manner. I kind of lost myself a little bit and responded in a way that probably wasn't appropriate. So that is one of the reasons why we're here today, and how you can prepare yourself for that situation, unfortunately, if it happens to you, and also be able to handle it with grace and care and love. So I replied to that person, no, actually, I was the one who just lost the baby and was, coming out of the hospital, and we're here today. And, I'm going to pass it over to my friends, because we've all shared our blow up in your face moments. So that was mine, unfortunately.
You want to go next, Shervonne?
Shervonne, you want to go?
Sure. So my landmine moment was I had been dating my husband at this point for about 5 years. And I think this was, we were dating 5 years, and then we were married 2 years. So this is like 7 years in. And my husband's family was very aware of who I am and, how long we've been together in our relationship. And then one day at a cookout, and it must have been like just one of those times in my life when I was very emotional about where we were in our journey of growing our family. And his cousin, a cousin that I didn't see often, but, I knew her and she knew me. And she came up to me at a cookout, and I think I was just totally off guard. And she said to me, "When are you going to give my cousin some babies?" And I was like, And again, I think because of where I was in my fertility journey, it was just like not a good time. Like, it's not a good time for me to be answering this question. I'm trying, we're trying. And believe me, I want to be, a mother more than you want to see me be a mother. So, that was like a really big moment for me. And to this day, I can still feel the pain in hearing that question, and the pain that I felt when I was answering it the best way I could without breaking down at this family cookout. Like, I'm supposed to be having fun, and you're asking me out of nowhere, when am I going to give your cousin some babies?
Yeah.
That was my fault, you know?
Right. And I think she was trying to be cute and funny, but it really was actually a pretty rude way to say it and ask, even if any way she had asked would have been difficult, but the way she asked specifically was particularly inappropriate. Like for some reason you were holding off on doing it for some reason, or, you know. So yeah, I mean, I don't have one that sticks out to me, but I just have always had little, like I feel like they're little injuries, those little piercing moments where people say or ask something that cuts right to your heart, you know. And even though I'm a parent now of one child, there's still those moments where people ask about when are you going to have another, and that still, you know, still really hurt. And so I think one thing we can say on this Tell All Tuesday is just, for one, is that I don't think anyone should ever ask anyone if they are pregnant or when they plan to start their family. If you're close enough to ask someone when they plan to start to build their family, they will tell you. You don't have to ask them.
Right.
And I think you should not. I mean, I never ask someone, and even when it's pretty clear to me that someone is pregnant, I wait for them to tell me, because it is one of my worst fears to get that wrong. And so my thing is just do not ask. I don't care how nosy you are. The way I handle it is, if I see someone I haven't seen in a while and it looks like they're pregnant, and this isn't even someone going through infertility necessarily, but just someone who I haven't seen and then they look pregnant, I don't ask. I usually just say, how are you doing? Or what's new? And I wait for them to tell me.
Right.
Usually this is happy news and people will be glad to tell you.
Right.
And then if someone points down at their belly and says, well, a big thing is new, then I know it's fine. Right. But I think the danger of getting that wrong or saying it to the wrong person is too much to make it worth ever asking. And we know so many people who are swollen in that area from endometriosis or other
PCOS,
and even just fertility treatment can make you swollen. And so it's just on top of the emotional aspect, which is the primary feeling, is that sometimes it's a physical reaction to trying to get pregnant that makes you look that way, or to some other challenge medically that you're dealing with. So the last thing you want is someone mistaking your swelling for a pregnancy.
That's perfect the way you said it, Kate, because for me, way back when, it was social anxiety, because I not only feared the question, I feared being able to answer the question.
Right.
And so in Love and Infertility, I will provide this underneath the video. You can download the chapter, which is your elevator speech.
Yeah.
And so just like we introduced ourselves, and you ladies did an amazing job, because I just said I'm a fertility coach, but you basically said who you were, what you did, and how you went there. You know, you're being able to tell people within the elevator ride what's happening. And so I help my clients craft an elevator speech that you have at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was right along, babies come when babies come. Or I have a whole team of experts working on that.
Right. Those are great.
And so that you are telling people so much information within those one lines that they're like, oh.
Yeah.
What we're really talking about is a sense of awareness. And Kate, I love how you just educated about that sense of awareness, right? That no one should ask that question, because you're not in the other person's shoes, right? And so by just saying that, I was taking yoga when I was trying, and the yoga instructor, the yogi, I said, well, I won't be able to do some of these stretches. And he's like, why? And I said, because I'm in fertility treatments. And he goes like this, what? He goes, are you, what? Like, you have to try? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'm so grateful you said that to me, because that's not anywhere in my awareness, because my wife and I have 5 kids, and, you know, and I'm like, well, God bless you for that.
Yeah.
But some of us have to try. So it's like bringing that awareness of, you know, your story is your story, but somebody else is creating their story now.
Yeah. And there's a wonderful woman in our community, in our tribe, in our field named Ellen Glazer. And one time she used the term, sometimes you have to be a gentle teacher. She used that term in one of the articles she wrote for Resolve New England. And I really loved it because you're fighting that feeling of like, I shouldn't have to help you be a good friend to me or a good family member to me. But unfortunately, if people haven't gone through infertility, sometimes they do need a gentle teacher. They don't know, and they mean well. Of course, it's not their intention usually to hurt you emotionally. So what she meant by that was just that sometimes you have to tell people in advance what you want from them or what you don't want from them. And part of you thinks like, you should just know this. I shouldn't have, on top of everything else I'm dealing with, I shouldn't have to tell you this. But sometimes you do, and in a way, it's good to do that. And my feeling is, if you tell someone like, I want you to say this, or I don't want you to say this, and then if they don't follow your wishes, then you really have reason to be upset and to confront them on it. But sometimes if they just genuinely don't know what to say and they say the wrong thing, it's a little harder for you to be upset about it because they tried and failed. But so that's just one thing.
Yeah, that's I think it's not your business, you know.
Right, exactly.
It's not your beeswax. Just stay away from that, you know. Yeah. Talk about the weather, talk about other stuff, but you know, really not your beeswax. And so part of what the other thing, you know, we were talking about the fear of the question and then being prepared for the question, and then to talk about childlessness, you know, so that is a choice, and sometimes it's not a choice. And so that's what is, you know, maybe you can speak to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone has their own story, and that's my biggest thing, and my biggest, I guess, point that I'd want to make is that whatever response someone gives you about why they are not a mother or father yet, like, be okay with that. Be prepared to just say, okay, that's enough. Like, I resolve the fact that I may not get the answer that I want, but you know, I have to respect that person's view, because sometimes it is a choice, or sometimes they're trying, and you don't want to intrude, you don't want to push, you know. So yeah, be okay with whatever answer they give you. It's their life.
Right. And I got, well, why don't you adopt? And one day, you guys, I was really bad. I was very bad. I was bad. My mouth would run, and I would say, "What? Did you talk to somebody about your nose? Did you think maybe you should get a nose job?" And
oh my God.
And the woman, and she just kind of looked at me, and I said, "Okay," and I walked away, because that's how personal it is. Like, would you go up to someone? It's a medical condition. Would you go up to someone and give medical advice about, you know, oh, you know, maybe you should have this procedure? You wouldn't.
Right.
So when I said I was bad, I was bad. I was kind of bad until I got my elevator speech, and I would say, "Oh, you know, I have a whole team of experts working on that." You know, and then
I love that. I love that particular elevator speech, because what that says to me is, I don't need your advice. I need your support. I have plenty of people that I'm getting advice from, but most of my team of experts don't give me like emotional support, or can't take me out to dinner to take my mind off my struggle. Like, that's what I need you for, my fill in the blank loved one. And so that's why I love saying I have a whole team of experts, because I think when people say, why don't you just adopt, or have you tried XY form of treatment or superstition or whatever, and pretty much by that point we have tried all of those things, they're trying to help. They want to fill that void, and they want to give you something that will help you. But it's like, even if I haven't tried it all, I don't want your advice about how I should become a parent. I want an expert's advice, but I want you to be my friend and you know, get in the trenches with me. So.
Well, there was you know, the honey-do card that I talk about too, that you write 3 things that you need from the people in your life, you know, your tribe, your five. We've talked about this before. And, you know, one of the other elevator speeches I use, and if someone said, you know, are you going to have kids? Are you having a baby? Why don't you have babies? I said, oh, I'll put you on the list when we do the call.
Yeah.
And just leave it like that. Like, okay, you know, okay. Oh, did you want to be on the list? We'll put you on the list when we're going to call somebody. I'm very sarcastic, so that's probably not good advice. But, you know, just whatever you need to do at that moment. You guys are more gentle than I am.
But yeah, I mean, along those lines, I remember I used to say, you know, believe me, we've been trying really hard to become parents. So when that day comes, we will be sure to tell you.
Yeah. Yes. See, you're always so more.
Well, no, those were only on my most gracious days. Believe me, I definitely had some angry days too, for sure.
I know. And a lot of people in my circle, you know, they would know that, you know, being a woman of faith and, you know, very active in my church, I would just say, you know, God knows, you know, it's all up to God. When he lets it happen, that's when it'll happen. And then that usually would like calm them, because they're like, oh, it's up to God, of course, you know.
Yeah.
So I would usually calm them, but sometimes I would freeze in that awkwardness, like, this is not the moment I want to be talking about this. So that's my elevator speech. When God's ready, that's when it'll happen.
Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome.
That's hard for them to argue with too.
Yeah, I know.
That's hard for them to come back at.
You just shut that down better than I
ever did. Yep. But that's why I like sometimes, like I said, with the gentle teacher thing, I think sometimes we have to tell people in a way what works for us, because everyone's different. Someone may be comforted by someone saying, I believe it's going to happen for you, you know, and then other people are like, don't tell me it's going to happen because I'm not sure it is. And that doesn't help me. So it depends on the person. So that's why in terms of helping loved ones know what to say instead of what not to say, a lot of times I start with just ask your friend or family, what can I do to help you? Like, what is a helpful thing that you want to hear? Because to me, sometimes just saying, I love you and I'm so sorry you're going through this is a great thing to say, because that is the truth. And that's why you're trying to fill the silence with your advice, is because you wish it wasn't so and you wish you could make it happen for the person. And so, of course, it comes from love, but it also can be very painful depending on what you say or how you say it. And so my thing is just ask them, what do you need? What can I do to help you? What can I say? And most people would not be upset by, I love you and I'm sorry this is a struggle for you.
Yeah. Or I'm here for you.
Or I'm here for you, right.
Is there anything else we should talk about? Because I know in my mind, I talk about people who have their feet in the stirrups and people who have their feet out of the stirrups. So we're talking to both right now, right? But is there something we're missing?
Well, one thing too, I don't know how you feel, you guys, but the other thing I think is, well, 2 things were in my mind. One is pregnancy announcements. So when people are pregnant, especially if they're one of your infertility sisters that become pregnant, I think you're so happy for them, but you do feel left behind, and you kind of feel like, I'm like the last one standing in this, whatever, in a support group or something if the other people start. But just in general, pregnancy announcements, I encourage people to do them by email or phone or some way that the person can privately cope with the news. And people feel like it's such a big thing that they should tell you in person or bring you out to dinner and tell you. But I know for me, I wanted to be able to process it on my own and then see them later and be able to be happy. Because of course, as you guys know, it's bittersweet. You are happy for them. You genuinely are happy for them. It's just very painful for you. So that's one thing is I suggest to people, even though it feels impersonal, I'm like, email them so they can deal with it on their own. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Well, when I had my preschool and I was trying, I had, 20 women, and I was surrounded by babies every day. And one of my teachers, out of the blue, we're all friends and lovely, and one of them said, "I'm pregnant," and I had just found out, you know, something didn't work, and I was like, "I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you," but I excused myself and had a moment.
Yeah,
and everybody came, because not everybody knew what was happening, and they all came in there like, "You didn't support her enough. Go out there." And I love what you said, Kate, because we don't want to diminish other people's joy, but if you know another person's story, and if you are aware of that, that's a great strategy to use to email or text or some non-direct form of communication, and then let that person, you know, respond in kind.
Yeah, definitely.
I always think of too, like your comeback phrase or your thought in the moment of that. Like, I work in a hospital and I work around a lot of nurses, and you know, since I've been there, like a couple of them have gotten pregnant, and the news is right there in the unit, and it's like in your face, up and direct. And I try to think of something in my mind to help me, you know, stay peaceful in that, because instantly I go to, oh, it's not me, you know.
Right.
But I think of like, you know, don't worry, like the best is yet to come for me, you know, or my latter days will be greater than my former, like some phrase to just help me snap back into reality and not like completely lose where I am and what I'm supposed to be doing at that moment.
This is mine.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Everything is as it should be right now.
And I love that, Shervonne, too. That is
you're so powerful.
She is.
You are.
You kill me, girl. I am like, you are so sweet.
You're so powerful because you're just bringing the grace. You bring in that grace in that moment because you're so loving that it just comes out of you. But you know what? That I always say, all is well, or everything is as it should be right now. And sometimes, you know, you just have to put those feet on the ground and you know, cling to that faith, cling to that hope. But I just don't want people to be shamed or feel judged that they're responding not in a great way. Because whatever you're feeling is how you're feeling, and you can't judge yourself for that. And that's one of my concerns too, because then I would awfulize myself.
Yes.
And I think it's just to ask yourself those questions. What do I feel and what do I need?
Yeah.
You do it in that gentle manner that you so gracious, you know, you're such a role model in that grace that you provide for everybody else. And you know, to use that grace for, you know, for internal too.
Yeah. You deserve it in return too. Because the other thing is baby showers. I mean, a woman, I don't know her, but a woman posted on a Facebook group that I'm in this morning. Really, I would say it's not too strong a word. She was agonizing over going or not going to this baby shower of a close friend and how to handle it. And it was like, I instantly just felt like a physical reaction to her post because I could still relate to it so much all these years later. And just like you said about being able to give yourself permission to make the decision that's best for you. I mean, we're not selfish people by nature. And so I think it's hard to make the decision that's really like the most self-preserving. And it isn't to say she is going to necessarily decide not to go. There were some great suggestions from people about how she might handle it. But a lot of people said, don't go. It's not worth your emotional strain, and that they really felt her friend would understand. But it was more like, for me, the reaction to just reading her comment was so visceral for me because I was like, oh man, I can go right back there in an instant.
Me too. And you know what my mantra was? 10 years from now, no one's going to remember.
Yeah, that you were there.
Yeah. 10 years from now, no one's going to remember. And that's the peace of mind that you have to have. Like right now, your situation is so acute and so vulnerable and so apparent, right? But 10 years from now, if you just take that deep breath and say, 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember this. if I was there, or if I was there and what clothes I had on. Nobody's going to remember that. So what is the best thing for me at this moment?
Right, at this moment. That is so true. Like I have over the years, now it's like 20 years now that I have been, we've been trying, but over the years I've gone to so many baby showers, and it's like some of them I've gone to and I feel like I've been holding my breath from the moment I got there to the moment that I left. And then others I've gone and I'm on the dance floor and I'm laughing and having such good time that I forget all about the fact that, I was on the fence about actually going to this baby shower. So it depends. Like, it really depends on how you feel. Give yourself that grace, give yourself that, that leadway, that freedom to just go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's great when you have people, if they know what you're going through, who give you permission to take that leeway and to read how you're feeling at that particular time. See, more baby showers should have dancing, and then we'd be okay with it. Yeah. There's too many baby showers that nobody wants to go to anyway, so if they had dancing, you'd be all right. That's
right.
It's like that. It reminds me of those board games or those Venn diagrams or whatever they call them that say like, okay, how are you doing today? If yes, you proceed along to the baby shower. If no, make up an excuse or get sick or something, it's like, because you're so right. Sometimes it's fine. And my thing was, it depended on the closeness of the person. If I was doing, say, okay, and the person was very close to me, then I would go to yes. But if I was having a hard time and it was sort of like a distant person or a person who would understand if I had to find another way to honor them separately and privately, then it was fine to say no. But so I definitely did have like this little board game in mind,
A flow chart.
A flow chart. That's what it was. Not a Venn diagram.
Flow chart. One of my clients was an accountant, and she used to have a spreadsheet. She was so, that's how she organized everything. And I loved it because she would say, nope, this happens, I do this. And I would be like, I love that.
Oh my gosh, you should market that thing.
Yeah. So I think we covered, it was, more about interpersonal, etiquette. And empowering. I was hoping to empower and provide a voice or tips to create your voice to deal with situations that can be of a challenging. So my last pearl would be, let's come up with our last pearls. I think my last pearl would be really go back to you and trust your intuition. Put your hand on your heart and say, is this right for me right now? And say, listen, do you get a yes? Do you get a no? And if you get a no, say, okay, it's not right for me, and I'm going to honor that. And come from that point of your loving heart.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's really a pearl of wisdom, but I would just say, we in this talk even we were trying to find ways to encourage people not to ask these things and not to say these things, but of course they still will and they still do. And so I would say, trying to just respond to those with whatever elevator speech you come up with that indicates that you're struggling, to hopefully shut them down from these kinds of questions today. And so mine was always like, we're trying really, if someone said, when are you guys going to have children? It was like, we're trying really hard to make that a reality, but it hasn't happened yet. And we'll be really happy to tell you if and when it does.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that. I guess my final thing that I'd want to mention is that for the women who are being asked, you're on your fertility journey and you're being asked about, your fertility or when you're going to have a baby. If you have a moment that is overwhelming or you experience a situation where it becomes a bit much, have a plan in place to recover, some kind of self-care, like, you know what, I just went through something a little traumatic and a little overwhelming. So I think I'm going to head beeline to the nail salon and just treat myself because I need to relax.
Yeah.
Something like that, or go have tea with a girlfriend, something that you can do to just bring you back to your regular self, and just like recover.
I love that, the emotional recovery of it, because it's like that cycle. You go up and you go down, and we all know that fertility journey here. And so it's just, I love that. That was beautiful. Well, I love you, ladies. This was such an awesome talk.
I love you guys too.
I love you too, both of you.
So everything will be underneath the video. You can find us, or and we'll be sharing on social media. So, love you guys.
Bye. Thank you.